with the success that North Carolina had running that high ball screen and just Duke never figured out what to do with it. Part of it was RJ Davis making the right decision just about every time, but UNC has really relied so much on that for their offense to kind of free a lot of other things up as well. Is there any reason to think that Duke might find a way to stop that, or should we consider that North Carolina will still have some modicum of success going into the game Saturday night? Sean, I'll go to you first.
I think the advantage Duke has is they can look at that game and say, hey, this killed us. What are we going to do to combat that? Versus UNC, who did everything well. I think Duke will definitely try harder to get through those screens where they're not just putting their big man in isolation situations. I think they're perfectly fine with that at Cameron and RJ. To his credit, picked them apart. I think there was maybe one or two block shots that game, but we've seen it in the past few games of Duke mixing in a little bit of zone here and there. And I think they'll definitely come prepared with a few ways to try to, maybe it's even trapping to try to get the ball out of RJ or Caleb's hands. So while that did work very successfully, and I'm sure there will be some opportunities for UNC, I would fully expect Duke to, be working all week to see how they can, force UNC to go in a different direction.
Vib, I'll ask you the same thing. Is there any like side action where North Carolina can actually, instead of opting to go to the pocket pass, maybe look for something on the side, kick out to the corner or something like that? Or do you think it's going to be just, keep running it and make Duke stop it? And I like Sean's call too that, remember the great genius move that K made to go zone against Michigan State. I mean, that's, you can't really downplay that too much, can you?
Yeah, I think it's a situation for North Carolina where if what they were doing that second game isn't broken and they go to it a couple times early, Hubert Davis wouldn't have any problem running it the entire game, kind of like you saw in the second half where RJ was taking over with the middle ball screens, and the Duke team, for whatever reason, didn't have any problem not adjusting and letting it continue to beat them over and over again. And I think that point kind of goes to the next point that I wanted to make, where I think the best thing from North Carolina that we've seen over the past month is how willing to adapt and how willing to adjust his strategies Coach Davis and this staff have been when things don't go their way. You look at a game like UCLA where they're trying to run that same middle ball screen and UCLA's kind of packing it in. They're not really respecting Leaky in the corner. Juzang is essentially a paint defender the entire time, not even going out with Black. And UNC goes into the halftime probably lucky to be down whatever they were down with the way UCLA was shooting the ball, even though they were playing good defense. And you get things like the side pick and rolls and more adjustments and different actions to kind of take advantage of what UCLA was doing. You take Leaky out of the corner, you put somebody like RJ Davis or Caleb Love or Brady Manick in the corner, and then all of a sudden you're kind of muddying up where UCLA's help defenders are going to come from, because you're not going to hug your defender, or you're not going to come off the paint into the paint if somebody like Brady Manick is spotting up in the corner and you're trying to what's more important? Should I stop the Love drive or should I stay with Brady Manick in the corner? And a lot of times in that second half, North Carolina caught UCLA in kind of no man's land, and that's how they were able to score. So I think if there's one thing to be encouraged about, if you're a North Carolina fan, is the adjustments that this coaching staff have been making during this run.